I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your 3-minute cattle market update for Friday, March the 10th. And these fires have really put the market coverage in perspective here. I know it's a big deal. I take it very seriously covering these markets, but when you have a catastrophe that destroys so much grass, so many cattle, so many lives, so much fence, it really puts the market in perspective. It's not that big a deal compared to the whole scheme of things, but and then the big fires that we had this week, counted, last count was 6 lives that were lost, and a lot of other people are hurting, and no telling how many miles of fence, thousands of cattle, millions of acres, and just really a tough time here in the Texas Panhandle where I live. They lost 4 people there, and including some of the most impressive young people that you can imagine. And it's always bad, and you hear the best of people when you lose them, but sure enough, some very impressive young people that we lost, and it's just hard to imagine how the families are going to recover from that. But the outpouring of support has been fantastic. Loads of hay are rolling in, money's rolling in, just all kinds of volunteers coming in to help. There's hundreds of ways that you can help. One place, if you're not from around here and you would like to help, the Working Ranch Cowboys Association has a fund set up there, and you can find that WRCA online or get a hold of them, and there's a fund there. Then they know how to get the help right to the people. They work with the ranches, and they can get it direct there, and it won't be caught up in a bunch of red tape. But let's look at the market. The board there, live cattle futures April. Wednesday was up 62, Thursday up 52 to end the day on Thursday at 116.50 on a market that's as high as 127. So that's no help. Feeder cattle, April contract, Wednesday up 42, Thursday up $1.85 to end the day on Thursday at 124.62. But you look at your fat cattle market this week, happened mostly on Wednesday, and it's just amazing the willpower that these feedlots had in trying to hold their market position with a giant basis that most of them are going to be able to pocket any hedged feeder as much as $10 or more, staring them in the face. And it would have been so easy just to let their guard down and puke those cattle, but they held their ground. The packers started buying cattle earlier in the morning, or late in the morning, but earlier in the day on Wednesday, 123, 124, but the feedlots held their ground. They knew that everybody's current. They know that these packers want to keep their inventories up because we're going into grilling season. We've got an early spring. We're thinking any minute that these exports could really jump up, and these packers do not want to get caught short of product. They're wanting to stay up there. They want to keep these change speeds at a pretty decent rate and keep the product moving out. But they held their ground, got 125 in the Southern Plains. Northern Plains are seeing that the choice select spread is widening, and their cattle normally always grade a higher percent choice and prime there. They wanted more. The supplies of market ready cattle are short in the Northern Plains. They're short in some other areas too, but they held their ground for more. So 126 and 127 live basis in the Northern Plains, and then was able to get $200 to 202 dressed. So all those prices were steady to $2 higher, and just the fact that they was able to get together and hold that market together was really amazing, and it's going to bode well for your feeder cattle market and calf market going forward here. Just holding this fat cattle market at a position that's this high for this long. We know that we're going to lose part of it as we go through the spring and into the summer months, but the bigger you build it, the harder it is to tear down. We have to be aware of the last half of March. The packers can start pulling contracts the last half of March, and they've got some captive supply cattle, and they've recently bought some cattle on a negotiated basis for delivery in the last half of March. So they're trying to get things set up to start chipping away at that market as we go into the summer months. And and we've got tight supplies up until May, and then we've got kind of a wall of cattle that supposedly coming, but we've been pulling cattle forward. These cattle are fairly green again, and everybody's in pretty good shape, but just need to continue to aggressively market these cattle and stay ahead of the game. That way, whenever we do get to heavier supplies, we'll still have some fundamental help. But your actual dress weight dropped, it was a 2-week delay there, so down to 878 pounds. That's 3 lighter than what was published last week. Your slaughter so far this week, 454,000. That's down 7,000 from last week, but last week was very impressive. But up 19,000 from the same week a year ago. That this board just continues to lag. The fundamental and the market and your cash market continues just to have to drag the board along, and it stays at a discount right up to the end, and when it has to mature, and then everybody can jump on that and then ride it up to the very close there right at the end. And it's not really serving its purpose right now. It's kind of working for cattle people because they're able to hedge things and have a nice basis to help reach their break-evens with, but it's not a healthy way to try to project what the market's going to be. You look out front on your fat cattle, we've got our summer months just barely over $1. You'd like to think that we could hold it better than that, and I do think that we'll hold it better than that, maybe $1.10 or $1.12. There's a lot of support at $1.10. Well, with the board at just over $1, there's your $10 basis that we've got right now. But it's and then it's trading every other month. It's a long time, that spot market's a long time to get out there, and just doesn't really do a good job of forecasting what the market is. But you look at your feeder cattle markets, El Reno, Oklahoma had 15,000 this week, counting their Tuesday and Wednesday sales there. Feeders were steady to $2 lower on Wednesday. A lot of cattle coming off wheat there. And I mentioned on another report that as dry as it is, and I know we've had these horrible fires because it's so dry and everything, amazingly this wheat has been fairly decent for as dry as it is, and the cattle have done real well on it. Some of those cattle carrying quite a bit of flesh. But feeders steady to 2 lower there in El Reno. If you look at your Beef Market Central report out of El Reno there, and it looked about steady just on quoted prices. But that includes 2,761 head of 8-weight steers right there on that report at 121.53, which was down just 52 cents from the previous week. But look at some Thursday markets. Pratt had near 8,000 head. That gives you an idea how many's coming off wheat in that area. Feeders over 800 pounds, steady to $1 higher. Feeders under 800 pounds, 1 to 2 lower. Not a real good test on calves. Look at Salina on Thursday, just over 3,000 head. Feeders were mostly steady there. That's 3 minutes. We'll talk to you next week.